Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola and his fellow ranters as they sound off on the latest movies, TV, and the world of entertainment. Now, here are your ranters for the hour, Marco, Mila, Larry, and Bruno.
Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Rant Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola, and tonight we are doing a special car ride home edition, as we just got done seeing the Carole King Musical at the North Shore Music Theater. Tonight, my ranters are with me. Amy, say hello, Amy.
Hi.
And Billy.
Hello.
And Mara.
Howdy.
And we are just, like I said, we got done seeing the Carole King Musical at the North Shore Music Theater. Tonight was the second night, or as they say, opening night. And we're going to go around and everybody's going to give their quick review of what they thought of it, and then we'll go through and give our in-depth review. So let's start with Amy. What did you think of the show tonight?
I thought it was incredible. I had no idea that she had written as many songs for other artists as she had. I mean, she was incredibly, incredibly talented. And her life was also, very tumultuous. And so I think she channeled it well in her music, but I enjoyed it very, very much. And I feel like I learned a lot, which is nice too.
Yes, definitely. What about you?
North Shore Music Theater, man. They hit it out of the park. Great theatrical play, great musical, phenomenal cast. Elena Ricardo was phenomenal in the lead role.
Oh, yeah.
Just a phenomenal play. Loved it.
Excellent. Mara, what about you?
Well, it's hard to expound on both very high reviews, and I feel the same. I thought the actors did a great job both portraying her music, and the quality of their talent was unexpected.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't know a lot about Carole King. It is like you said. Amy said the same thing. Like, I don't know a lot of. I know her music. I didn't know it was her music. Mm-hmm. I think that happens a lot. I mean, I'm 47, so like I said, I grew up hearing a lot of these songs. I'm not as well versed. I've said this before many times on the podcast. In music, I know TV. I know movies. Music is definitely not my thing. So I can hear the music in my head. I love the music. Had no idea who performed it, or and then there's obviously the older songs that she didn't perform, but she wrote the music to her, and her ex-husband wrote the lyrics to. So that was a lot of it. That was a big shock to me as well. So it was really interesting to hear all that stuff come out. What are some of your favorite, I would think, scenes or parts of the performances? One of mine were the costume changes. I thought the costume changes were incredible. Because you get to see all the decades that it takes you throughout the performance. So you see, the passage of time through the whole performance. You get to see through the costume changes, and it was very cool to see that. Very effortless. You don't get to see like her kids grow up, so obviously it wasn't very centered on her kids, things like that. So that passage of time was dealt through the costume changes, and of course the music. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know the era. If you know music like Billy does, you know the era of time when the music came out. But for me, it was definitely the costume changes. Billy, what about you?
So for me, the highlight was obviously Carole King herself, but I really enjoyed the Drifters. I thought the four guys did a phenomenal job. The choreography and the dancing and the singing was fantastic. The Little Eva coming out and doing locomotion, and the line that they had going in a circle there was fantastic, was amazing. I also I love the costume changes as well, because we went from the 60s with the shiny tuxedos into the 70s where you had the wide bell bottoms and the more colorful prints and everyone with long hair. And I really liked, most importantly, what I really thought was effective was the way they used the upright piano throughout the play. It just changed its location on the stage to change the scene. I really found that appropriate. I love that. I absolutely love the way they changed the scene with that.
I liked that. I mean, I really liked that too. I loved the piano. Reminds me of one that was in my elementary school, and they used to move it like we had a cafegimatorium, right? So they used to like move it around everywhere.
Yeah.
It would be like in different spots all the time. And I don't know. I thought it really tied everything together, and it's like the center of her, right? Like that's at the at the end of the day, she wrote the music. She could write lyrics too. She just didn't think she could in the beginning. She didn't
think she could sing either. So
I know, which is crazy.
Carole King thought really struggled, with confidence in her singing. Always. And even when she came out with the #1 album, Tapestry, in '71, she still was self-conscious about that, and yet, everyone loved her for just being herself, and I think that's the last song that they sang, and when you're beautiful, which is the name of the play, was her saying, you don't have to be, this gorgeous number 10 model to be beautiful. You can just be yourself. And I think she was comfortable in her own skin after that.
Yeah, I agree. I hope so. I mean, I feel like she went through a lot to develop into who she was.
Absolutely.
And she used her pain, she used her life, she used all of her things to...
Her experiences.
Yeah, her experiences to,
She was a pro. And and it showed in her determination to continue on with her life after, the love of her life, dumped on her. And she still carried on, for her daughters and for her love of the music and her career. I mean, she's an amazing woman. And in fact, I lived through the time, and her album, it carried a lot of weight, not just musically, but it empowered women at the time. Because women's rights started becoming a real issue back in the early '70s. Like equal pay, and women wanted to be taken seriously for they didn't just have to be housewives. They could have a full-time job. They could raise a family. They could be the breadwinner. They could, my mother was certainly one of that generation. She was an original women's liver, and my household, that's what we talked about. It was all about equal rights, and it was and Carole King was a forefront of that at the time. That was an important album.
Yeah, I bet. When did it come out? Do you know?
1971.
1970. Wow. Yeah. Right at the beginning. Yes, and in 1971, she could not have a credit card without either her husband or her father's co-signature.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, right? Like, she, and which is just incredible to me. Like,
But the play also, I mean, it's my second play at North Shore Music Theater, and I gotta tell you, I love the venue. I absolutely adore it. I think it's a gem, and more people should go. If you haven't gone, go. You're missing something that is so beautiful. To get into it, get down there, go see a play. They've got a bunch of really good ones coming up, like Sound of Music, Elvis. That's
Margaret,
the full
Monty. Yeah.
Coming up, yep. We'll list them all on our page as well, and in the description of the podcast with links.
The attraction to the venue is the circular center.
Yeah, the theater on the
Yes,
round.
The Shakespearean model. It's really cool. It's just
there's no bad seat in the house.
No bad seats.
It's an amazing theater. We love going there. We've been there a number of times now. So, Maya, what was your thoughts? What were some of your favorite parts of the?
I really enjoyed the costume change. You're right; they were right point on to the years in which they spanned.
Yeah.
The music was inviting. It made you want to sing along.
Yeah.
I think that two things happened there. The venue certainly projected the music well, and the actors themselves also were very well talented.
Yes.
So it was very uplifting from the beginning through the end.
Right. And it found, like, for myself, the hard part, and this is not a drawback and certainly not a slight of any kind, they have to shorten the songs time-wise. Like, it's not, no song is, like, in its full entirety, really. because time-wise, otherwise it'd be like a 4-hour play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you find yourself in a way they're just so good, their performances are so well done. You want the full song. You're like, oh, it's over.
Right.
Damn it! I want the whole song. The songs are so powerful. They're doing such a great job with that. Obviously, the orchestra, the behind them are amazing performing these songs. It was just that was a pleasure as well. So it does it's the old adage, leave them wanting more. You definitely wanted more of the music. So and it's definitely inspired me to kind of go back and listen to her back catalog. Billy, tell me, how many do you know other than Tapestry? What else she's done?
With her albums?
Yeah, what other albums does she have? Do you know?
Well, she had a bunch of, like she did a collaboration with Mariah Carey because she saw Mariah Carey do her first song, and she said, I want to write with her. And Aretha Franklin had done one of Carole King's songs, and she wanted Mariah to sing the song, and Mariah said, no, Aretha is my hero. I can't try and one-up her on a song. So they ended up collaborating on a song. She played with James Taylor for a long time. You've Got a Friend actually was a #1 hit for him.
Yep.
And they actually toured together for years, and sang that song together, You've Got a Friend. And she also was, I've seen a lot of videos of her in live concert where she played guitar as well. I mean, she was an excellent pianist and classically trained. So I don't know all of her albums, but she did a song called Jazz Man, which was a later hit for her, which was a great song, and I mean it had a lot of horns in it, which kind of in the early 80s that seemed to be the thing. People started getting horn sections and things like that. So she was definitely with the times, she just she was influential for me. Tapestry, I wore, I had a record player obviously, and I wore a Deep Groove in that record. That was one of my top 10 favorite albums of all time.
You can see why.
Yeah, it's just a great album. There wasn't a bad song on it, and very influential in my life, no question.
You can definitely tell, with her talent, and I think this is not easy to say and not easy to do for many composers. She did keep throughout the years. She's obviously spanned a few decades, and the music changed so drastically for the type of music. You know what I mean? From the decades that she spanned, and she was able to keep up with it and not get stuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? In a certain type of this type of music I do, and this another type of music I do, and then once that music changed, you kind of you're out because you can't keep up with the times.
Yeah.
70s music obviously was very different than the 60s, was different than the 50s. People get stuck in that music, and that's it. There are a lot of bands in the 80s you don't hear from anymore.
Right.
Some you do, but most of them you don't hear from anymore because they're stuck with that kind of music.
Well, or get stuck in the fact that more people were writing, right? She was able to still find her voice and have her music and say what she wanted to say.
When artists were kind of writing for themselves, and they weren't able to write for artists anymore.
Back in the 60s, almost every record you heard wasn't played by the artist. It was played by session people. And in a lot of the songs they sang wasn't written by them. It was written by session. It was written by writers like Carole King, and just a few of those people actually came out of that. Very few of them. One was Glenn Campbell. He was a session man out in L.A. and an incredible session man, and he came out and became an artist in his own right. And one was Carole King. There were a few of them that survived. Because in the early 70s, what happened is bands started writing their own material and playing them out, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. That kind of started that area. And
Bob Dylan.
And it spelled the doom of the session art. The people writing, that were writing songs for these artists, and also the people that were playing the music as well.
I could be wrong. Was Paul Anka one of those kind of guys? Did he write a lot of music for other people?
I don't know much about Paul Anka.
He wrote stuff for Sinatra, people like that.
He was more 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Sinatra was 40s and 50s. So for me, even though I respect him and I admire him, he was a different genre, different era for me.
Yeah.
Very much.
Old Blue Eyes.
Old Blue Eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really I can't tell you. I'm so appreciative to being able to go to the play tonight, and we finally got the right night. And
Yeah, I know that one I'll never live down.
Yeah,
You will not. Dragging us all up here on the wrong night.
On the wrong night. Yeah, well, it was on the calendar. Yeah. Somebody put that on the calendar months ago, and I never.
Do you know he told me it's 30% of the blame is on me?
I'm not taking 100%. I'm not taking 100%.
That's the way it works.
I was like, none of the blame is on me, and he's like, I was willing to accept 70%. I was like,
see, I think that
90.
I think that Mark is being really generous. Only giving 30% too.
That's right. That's right. See, told you.
Oh, you think he's being really generous?
I thought so too.
I know, honey. I know you do.
Thank you. So I had a question for you, Billy. So, being a musician, and this is, again, I understand the concept of what has to go behind this, right? The performers are performing and they're singing and they have to act and they have to move around the stage and to do their thing. So obviously they're not playing the instruments, right? That's all theater.
Yep.
Does that, being a musician yourself, is that weird for you? Like when I watch a movie or something like that and I see people doing martial arts and it's complete hogwash, you can tell they've never done it in their life, or maybe they practice for a few months and they're just like faking it. So it's kind of weird for me. Is it weird for you?
It's really weird. In fact, the Beatles were a huge influence in my life, and they were doing the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time, and they couldn't play their instruments. They had to pantomime it, and you can see in some of the old clips how they were making fun of it. They were mouthing the wrong words, or playing left hand, playing weirdly so that they, because they thought it was a joke. They really wanted to play their instruments. And then it's funny how it all flipped, because then in the 80s, who was the band? There was a couple of guys that were singing.
Milli Vanilli.
And they got caught,
lip syncing,
and faking it, and it became a big scandal.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in the in the 60s, that's all they did.
That's what they made them do.
That's what they made them do, yeah.
But tonight's actress.
No, they were singing.
Carole King.
Oh yeah.
Played the piano.
She was playing the piano.
She was playing the piano. I know. I was surprised.
They said it was fake.
It was incredible.
Yeah,
we said it was fake.
No, she was doing it. You could see her.
No, they said Bill Haney said it was fake.
Really?
Yeah, that's what beginning of the play is like he tapped it. He's like, it's theater music. It's fake. It doesn't work.
I thought the piano.
I don't think she was playing.
You could see her pushing down the keys.
She was pushing the keys.
She did a good job of faking.
Yeah,
she did a really good job.
She was pushing the keys, but it doesn't mean the inside of the piano wasn't doing anything.
I couldn't tell.
I was going to ask you if you could tell.
I don't think so.
I spent.
Honestly, that was
when they had the guitar player.
Oh yeah, you could absolutely.
Faking.
Oh yeah, that I could.
Which is why I was asking.
Yeah.
He was the main reason I was asking. But no, Carole, when she was doing a lot of it, you could tell she was hitting like she was barely moving, and she should have been moving more. But even at the end, what I'm trying to say is that Bill, at the beginning, it kind of took me out of it. It was like the one thing I was like, I wish he didn't say that. He knocked the piano. He's just like, yeah, it's kind of theater magic. It's fake. It doesn't actually work. Because the people, the orchestra people are playing it for her, so that she doesn't have to try to sing and play and move around and keep to the rest of the music at the same time. They were playing it for her, and she doesn't have to learn. Because it doesn't necessarily mean she can sing. It doesn't mean she also knows how to play the piano and play all these songs. She has to learn the songs and learn how to play the piano to play the part. I don't think she actually knows how. I don't think she was actually playing. I'll confirm it. I'll check. But I don't think she actually was playing the piano.
I thought she was at some point.
Me too.
I did too. I really did.
I spent a lot of time staring at her fingers trying to figure it out.
She was actually pushing the keys. You're not wrong. She was pushing the keys. I don't think they actually hitting anything.
They were the correct keys, especially if you know piano.
Well, which I don't, so I could be completely wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know piano from anything.
I don't know. She like especially I feel the earth move under my feet. Her timing on the piano. She was playing it spot on.
If she was playing the piano, then it's like even bigger hats off from me.
Yeah.
To be able to do that at a performance while doing the acting, while singing, you know what I mean? For a theater person to be able to do all that at the same time. Huge kudos. That takes the performance to another level. So
she was a wonderful actress.
Yes, absolutely.
With an excellent voice.
Absolutely.
And the play itself was great writing. I mean, just to tie the whole story together with the music, in her music. I mean, I thought that was.
What did you think of the pacing of the play?
Oh, no, it was great.
Yeah.
Kept you entertained,
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
motivated. There was no lull at all.
I had one problem with it. It wasn't
What?
long enough.
Oh.
I mean, that's kind of what I was saying, like with the songs. You know what I mean?
I wanted it to. I wish it could have been a couple more hours. You know, and I really enjoyed it. I would have sat through another couple hours.
With the songs and everything like that, if the songs were, they were able to play the full songs, it would have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You totally wanted it to be longer because you wanted the full songs.
Yeah, I really
incredible.
enjoyed it. It was a fun night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her songs, though, I felt like her original, well, they're all her original songs, but like the ones that she was singing and writing and doing all of it, I felt like they cut those more than the other ones. Those other songs are shorter.
Well, I think that, they were trying to make the story about her and her relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And then also breaking into the business. So, the culmination of all of it was her album Tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't put as much weight on that, but I think that's because of the story. That she found her voice at the end, and I think that was really the import of the story. Which again, it's the beauty of the play. It's beautiful.
Yeah. That scene where she goes, "Oh my God, I'm 28. What am I gonna do?" I was like, "What do you mean? What are you gonna do? You're 28."
Well, she was married and pregnant at 16.
Oh my God.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, always a different era, but so you don't really get that, sense of that timing. Like, really, 28? That's it?
I'm glad she said that because I was like,
that was that was hard. That was hard to judge the timing.
Yeah, it wouldn't have computed in my head.
No, it didn't compute in my head until she said that. So,
but she took a leap of faith and went to California. And,
I know.
Found her voice out there, and she needed a change, and she brought her daughters out there and didn't wallow in the agony that her mother did. I mean, she definitely went her own path. She was going to not be a bitter old woman.
And that was, I think that was really brave, right? Like moving away from everything that you know and everything that's familiar. Like
that's hard to do today, let alone back then.
True.
When you said
especially when women didn't have the rights that men did. So she had twice of the battle.
Yeah.
I was glad they were able to pay a little bit of respect to her mother at one point.
At the end, yeah.
99 times out of 100 she's wrong, the one time she's right. But it was, the mother did a lot more than just be right one time. She helped raise her daughters. She was there for her, and that's big. Because she had to work. So I don't know. I really love the play. I guess all I can tell you. I think that was
it's a musical.
I love musicals, and that's why the North Shore Music Theater is probably my most favorite theater in Massachusetts.
So great segue. Would you go back to see this one again?
I would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would too.
In fact, I'm thinking about a couple of friends of mine, and we have to plan something to do with them, and I would love to bring them to this play.
Yeah, I think they would. Yeah.
So who has the program? When is it? What are the dates on this? We have the program.
Billy has it. I would have to.
Let's get the dates on this one. So make sure we get. I'll take the phone if you want.
That'd be good.
I know it. I thought it was through most of June.
Let's just double check. And the June 6th to the 18th, you want to go to nsmt.org, correct? So just double check on that.
nsmt.org.
Okay,
yes.
so get your tickets. Let's just give a quick rundown as well on what else they have coming up.
So next is The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And that starts July 11th.
Yeah.
And then after The Sound of Music, there is Margaritaville.
Yes, Jimmy Buffett's,
Buffett's Margaritaville. And then followed by The Full Monty.
Right.
And then ending up with Elvis.
Yeah, but there's more stuff in between.
Yeah, there's...
I have a full list in here.
Okay.
Press list. There should be something in here.
Okay. I'll look.
Okay, is it this? Yeah, right here. There we go. Sound of Music, Margaret, Full Monty, Elvis, and then of course ends up with a Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Back in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They have concerts and things in between.
In between, yeah. Look for those because we'll definitely be making as many, if not all, of these. Again, hopefully end off our year with Christmas Carol again.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I love Christmas Carol.
Definitely do that again.
Replay.
That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, all right, let's go through. Let's see. I know we kind of chewed it up a little bit, but I'm in the wrong book. Where's that program guide? Where's that program guide here? All right. Dead air. That's always wonderful for a podcast, in case you're wondering. I love it. Let's give some shout outs here, because we'd like to, on the directors and the. I'll let you read off some of the directors and the actors and stuff like that who did it. So let's start off with the director, of course.
Douglas McGrath. No. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he wrote the book.
He wrote the book.
Yeah.
It doesn't start with the director, dear. It starts with
Santana.
Marco Santana. Thank you, Billy.
You're welcome.
Marco Santana. Elena Ricardo was Carole King, and she was absolutely incredible.
Yes.
Jean McCormick was her mother, Jeannie Klein. Betty, who was my favorite. I liked Ellie Sebold. I thought she was great.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about some of your favorite characters too.
I really liked Betty. I thought she was awesome.
Yep.
Don Kirshner was the guy who gave her start.
I like Don Kirshner. I know he's the sleazy, studio guy, but I like the way he was portrayed. I like the guy. What was his name again that played him?
Don Kirshner was a big name, man.
Don Kirshner. Reed Campbell.
Reed Campbell, man. He did a great job. Yeah. He did a great job playing Don Kirshner. I mean, you definitely got the feel of that sleazy, typical big wig, Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he did it perfectly.
He was a big name, man. Don Kirshner was a big name.
Yeah, you definitely got the feel there. He had the mustache, the slicked hair, the white, the quick talking. Oh yeah, he was the typical guy, and he played him to a T. That was great.
Mm-hmm. My second favorite actor in the play was Barry Mann. He played. Jack Cahill Lamb, who played Barry Mann.
Yeah.
Barry was Cynthia Weil's partner there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cynthia Weil was incredible.
The hypochondriac.
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job.
He was good. He was almost a caricature. I thought, to a certain degree with the hypochondriac, being a hypochondriac, and just like everything was like, cat dander, and everything. It was like, okay, settle down, but it was some of it was just really, really well timed. Mm-hmm. I thought that was fun. That was a lot of fun. He kept it through.
Yeah.
He kept it through the whole thing, and they didn't miss a beat. There was a lot more comedy in the musical than I thought there would be, which I appreciated. I thought there'd be, I didn't think there was going to be as much comedy, which I liked. You know what I mean? It kind of kept that part.
It's of a serious story.
Yeah, a serious story, which I liked. Definitely little bits in that thrown in there for fun, and I think that was well placed and well timed, but certainly didn't make the show goofy. It kept it nice and had some great laughs to it. Mm-hmm. It kept you going in between some amazing musical numbers.
Yeah, Cynthia Weil was great as well. Jessica Rush. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed the Drifters, like Billy said, the group that they put that together.
And the Shirelles were good too. Yeah.
I thought the dance, Little Eva, and the locomotion. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, and the true story is that she was a babysitter and she did invent that dance. Because they were trying to come up with something to compete with the twist and the frug and what else was back then in the 60s. There was this whole thing where people.
Oh, the mashed potato thing.
Yeah, people were coming up with dance songs. Mm-hmm. I thought the Righteous Brothers were really good too. Of course, that was a great song too, but that was a signature song for them.
That was the one right before the intermission, right?
Yeah. Well, One Fine Day was You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like right before.
I had no idea they wrote that.
That was awesome.
Well, Carole King didn't write that. That was Cynthia
Barry.
Weil.
That's right. Barry Mann.
But that was good. That was powerful.
Yeah. One Fine Day also. I love One Fine Day. Yeah. I think that's... And my biggest takeaway from this is that Carole King wrote If You Lead, I Will Follow, which is the theme song to the Gilmore Girls, which is like my favorite show.
That's right.
And I had no idea Carole King wrote it till they played it after intermission, and I was like, oh my God.
You know what I was not upset by, but and this might have been a rights thing, but because she wrote some monkey stuff, but they didn't get to play any of it. Right?
Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Did they play it?
Yeah, they played Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Oh, they did play it. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Where was I? I was there for the whole show.
You were there?
I actually showed up tonight on the right night.
That wasn't her favorite monkey song that she wrote. They did a movie. The Monkees did a movie, and she wrote the soundtrack for it.
Did she really?
Yeah, and the title song she wrote for it.
Did she write the title song to the show? Or did somebody else write it?
No.
Hey, hey, we're the monkeys.
Yeah, no, she didn't write that, but she.
They was
And
writing for
people
the show.
say we monkey around.
She
but
was
we're
writing
too
for
busy singing to put everybody down.
Don't get us kicked off of YouTube with your singing.
Oh, it's true.
Giving away here.
I just thought they,
Everybody's showing
not.
her singing talent.
Yeah, I wasn't singing.
She knows this, she knows
I do.
the
We used to
words
be on Nick at Night.
Yes, love that
We
show.
used to be on Nick at Night, and I used to watch it.
Goofy show. I used to watch it too.
Yep.
I had no idea she wrote Natural Woman.
Up on the Roof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I knew she wrote
Oh, I had
that.
no idea.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Oh,
So is Some Kind of Wonderful. That's another great song. Change, the Beatles did it. Yeah, I mean, she was an amazing artist.
We got to get out of this place. That was Barry. They wrote that, but that was. I mean, I had no idea that they wrote that.
Yeah, what a competition between the two pairs, you know? I mean, that's a great. It's unbelievable, you know?
Well, it's good fodder, right? For
Yeah. They're pushing each other.
And what's his
Yeah.
face knew it, and Kirshner knew it, right? And tried to play him off each other.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I think worked out
They're
well.
writing
for all
more
of
than
them.
you are. I don't know what's going to happen with the contract.
Right.
That's good. They said the same thing to both. That's how you play it. That's how you do it.
Let's play them off each other. Yeah.
I got employees. I know how this works.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you blend.
They show up on time every day. I don't know about what's going to happen with you tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah. No, it was really an incredibly moving show,
Yeah, definitely.
I have to say. And it always impresses me how well these people can sing
Yeah.
while running around
Well,
and dancing
dancing
and doing all of this
Jumping off
stuff.
and on stage, costume changing.
So
How about the
quickly.
big hole in the center of stage that they're
That they all walk around. I know.
I kept waiting for somebody to fall.
Okay, so there was
I
one
know.
point where the Drifters were like, they come
They were
up through.
awfully close. I know.
Well,
awfully
no, because then they
close.
went back to the center. I thought they were going to go back down, and one guy wasn't. He was half on, half off.
Oh, no.
I thought, I'm like, this guy's going to fall. But then they walked off stage. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because half his tour was on the circle, half was off. I'm like, he's not fully on the circle. He's done. If they lose that stage underneath him, he's gone. He's going to fall. This poor guy. But then he did it. They walked away. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Occupational hazard.
Yeah.
Right?
Move back, man. Move back.
No, I don't want to see that occupational
No,
hazard,
I didn't want to
please.
see that. I did not want to see that.
No,
but
but
thank
they
God,
exist.
they just walked off stage, so that was good.
It was good.
Yeah, but seeing that, it is so fluid. It is so fluid. Though. I mean, obviously their rehearsals are just incredible in what they do, and I love how much they use the entire theater. Like even the steel beams that hold up the entire place, and they have the lights on them to engulf you and totally surround you and make you feel like you're part of it and you're in it. It's incredible. I love that.
Because it's theater in the round, they can't have complicated sets. So they
Right.
do a lot with a little. Like
Right, with the lighting and everything like that.
The
It was-
locomotion scene with Little Eva, and they had the American Bandstand things that
Yeah.
came down, and
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen American Bandstand, but I felt like I could picture it, like
You were in
right
there,
there.
you were
I
there.
feel like I was like right there. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen them use the lighting on those metal beams. Maybe they have, but I've never seen them. I've never particularly noticed it before, but I noticed it tonight. So the metal beams going down at the angles that go towards the back of the back of the theater. It totally engulfed us in what we were doing. So that
Pulls you in.
Yeah, it really did. It really made me feel part of it. So like the whole play, I really felt a part of what was happening in there. So I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it because it was such a great musical to be a part of. Everything. And until really the second act, it was really uplifting. You know what I mean? The second half obviously takes a turn, because of what happens. But for the most part, the first act is very uplifting. It's really the rise of what's happening,
Right.
and then there starts to be towards the end of the first act, we start to get the downfall and the breakup of the relationship, and then the second act is.
What, you mean the part where she says that, with the part where he says, I want to still be married to you, but I also want to have an affair.
But I want to sort of messing around, dude. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there you go.
He had some weird stuff. There was a time in their history when Coffin was having an affair with the African American woman, and either she or a friend came in and obviously been beaten up, and they obviously, him and Carole King said, what happened? What happened? And I said, well, my boyfriend. And then they were like, well, you should leave him. He says,
Yeah.
no, he loves me, and he wants to stay with me, and we'll work it out. And they ended up actually getting married, the couple. And so, but they were really kind of traumatized by this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they wrote a song called "He Hit Me, But It Felt Like a Kiss," and it was it was universally panned,
Yeah.
and actually Carole King later said, I wish I had nothing to do with that song. And it's not a very good song, to be honest with you. It's not, and it never went anywhere. It was, it was, but he was off the deep end,
Well, I mean, he had, they said he had a nervous breakdown, but it looks like bipolar disorder, and he was like way off the deep end a lot. Like she thought he was doing drugs, but he was,
and he could have
up
been.
and down. He could have been.
Back then,
on top of it.
LSD was getting prevalent, and
Well, the amphetamines too, and
speed was
speed,
prevalent. I mean, he could have been popping bennies or whatever, and then on top of his manic personality, where he had to, compete against his father, being a playwright and never being successful, and he was going to do great things, and he really looked down upon what he was doing, writing lyrics for 3-minute songs. He just didn't think that was a big deal. He had very little self-esteem about it.
Mm-hmm.
But he never could see in front of him what he had in front of him. He had it all right there. There was nothing else he needed.
No, and that he actually it's not an easy thing to be successful at.
Yeah.
And they were, he was very successful at it, and the not being able to really accept it. And I don't know, there's a different word I'm looking for, but it's not coming to me. But yeah,
He couldn't appreciate the success.
no, I couldn't appreciate any of it. It felt like
No, definitely not.
I really felt
Which is
in
tragic.
that way. I felt bad for her because I felt like she really loved him, and that's it. And she wanted to be with him, and she was going to put up with a lot, and then no,
He was her guy.
he was her guy.
That's what she said. And that was it. Yeah. But she weathered the storm, and she ended up getting married 2 more times after that. Over the years. So I don't think she lacked for relationships.
Did she just have the 2 kids?
Yeah.
That's enough.
That's enough. You're good. I'm done. Shop's closed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
There you go. So you said she's still alive,
Yes,
and you follow her on Facebook.
I do. Yes.
And she's still out in California.
And she posts pictures all the time of old days and then herself now. I mean, and she's still a beautiful woman, and she definitely made a mark in my life. So I'm happy to see the play. I'm happy to see. It's funny that they wrote a play about someone who's still alive. It seems to be the new thing, because they just did the movie about Freddie Mercury, and although he was dead, but they did the one on Elton John, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
Which was horrible.
You didn't like it?
Oh, I thought it was horrific. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I thought they made a caricature of him, and I think he's probably deeper than what they did in this movie.
Most likely, yeah.
Incredible, talented musician. It's funny, he never wrote his lyrics. He never wrote his own lyrics. Yeah.
No, we had
Bernie Taupin.
Bernie Taupin, yeah.
But he could write music to anything.
Well, that's it. Well.
Yeah. Yeah, they are doing a little more of that stuff. Had she come out and talked about the musical?
Yeah, she actually went to the Broadway play and showed up on one of the shows, and really gave props to everybody for doing a great job. In this really and made everybody feel good, obviously.
Yeah.
But
So she liked it.
Yeah, she liked it.
Okay. That's you never know how that's gonna go.
Never know.
You never know. But as I like it, it's about her life, so you never know. So if you like that kind of thing, some people just don't really.
There's another one too, Tapestry or something. That's about her. I think. I feel like I've seen.
I don't know.
I think there's something else.
I'll have to look it up.
I remember someone I knew going to see it.
All right.
It's like, but this was amazing.
This is amazing, and we'd definitely go see it again.
Absolutely.
I would absolutely.
Nice. All right. Any final notes, Mara? Any final notes on?
I had a great time. I think it's worth a great night out at a wonderful
When you show up on the
theater.
right night, yeah.
When you show up on the right night, it can be a lot of fun.
Thank you, Billy.
North Shore Music Theater. Be there. Go there. It's a great place. It's a gem.
It is. It is. I
It is
agree.
truly. It really is. I absolutely loved it. This was one I was like, Carole King. What do I want to see a musical about Carole King for? And it was wonderful.
Yeah,
I
it was
loved
definitely the
every
sleeper
single
hit for
minute
me.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was
because-
beautiful.
Because like I said at the beginning, I had no idea who she was. Not a clue. I'm not a music person. I'm definitely a Carole King fan now. You know, and I was an unknown Carole King fan
Yeah.
because I know her music and I just didn't know it was her. So, you know, definitely now I know who she is and I know her music and in turn I'll definitely be listening to a lot more of it and I'll definitely be you know, going on about this play and wanting to get people to go see it. So we'll be posting about it on our social media and everything like that. So definitely look for it. So thank you to everybody at the North Shore Music Theater for putting on such a great production. Mike, thank you again. Look for us everywhere on our social media, Entertainment Rants, entertainmentrants.com. I want to thank Billy and Mata both. Thank you both for coming tonight.
Thank
you.
you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy, as always.
Thank you.
And thank you to all of our listeners. You can find us, as I said, on entertainmentrants.com. We'll be back next week with our normal ranters, doing one of our movies or TV shows or whatever happened to be happening in the world of entertainment. We're going to go out there and, keep on ranting. Everybody say, hashtag Let's Rant.
Hashtag
Let's
Let's
rant.
rant.
There it is. Thank you, everybody.